Cherise Trump here, the Executive Director of Speech First. So your organization fights on behalf of students who, they're college students whose speech and rights are deprived on campus.
Right.
Could you just talk to us about that and some of the litigation you guys do?
Absolutely. So we sue universities that violate the free speech rights of students. We go even further to educate students on their legal rights, to make sure they're being advocated for at the state level and federal level when it comes to their free speech rights. But really, ultimately, what it comes down to is holding bad actors accountable. For so long, we've seen all of these anti-speech policies on college campuses, these DEI policies, just kind of blow up and get all the funding, all the money, all the exposure that they needed in order to stay self-sustaining on campus. But in the meantime, students' rights are being violated, people aren't defending them, and they're just existing for decades. So what it was is a matter of our organization coming in. We were founded in 2018, so we're not that old, and we just basically wanted to come in and hold the bad actors accountable and say, no, you guys are violating the Constitution, you're all smart, you know what the Constitution says, you have lawyers, we all know, you're just trying to get away with something, and we're actually just going to sue you. We're going to take you to court, and then we're going to also take you to the court of public opinion and make sure that everyone knows exactly what you're doing. So that's kind of why we were founded back in the day. So.
And those are students who spoke up and had their rights challenged, and I'm sure that can set as an example for other students when they see punishment happening for their peer who's speaking their mind freely, giving an opinion. Are you afraid that more college students are really self-censoring when there's a real liberal professor and their classmates are kind of bought into this philosophy too? Yeah,
well, this is something that we've seen across the board. Self-censorship is at an all-time high. Students are afraid of being accused of microaggressions. They're afraid of being reported to what's called a bias response team. We sue campuses on this all the time because they have these policies that will specifically target and punish students for their constitutionally protected speech. And so ultimately, those policies are unconstitutional, but students are still going to self-censor. And I always tell students that courage is contagious. The more they speak up in class, the more they challenge their professors, the more they challenge their peers, the more other students are going to say, oh yeah, I actually have a kind of a similar idea, or I actually want to stand up and say something too. So it's just a matter of finding that balance of punishing the bad actors and then encouraging students to take control back of their universities.
We've seen, so much of college academia is just the left has a stranglehold on it. And we do see some colleges that are more conservative and allow more free thinking. Just what are your thoughts? How, we kind of did this with news. We started telling the news stories that the mainstream media wouldn't cover. What needs to happen for this infrastructure to keep growing out and to combat this stranglehold the left
Right,
has?
that's the right way to describe it. It's an infrastructure. We call it the DEI industrial complex, essentially. Right. That's how we refer to it, because there is so much about it that's built into the system. So you have the majors and the degrees that you can get in DEI or ESG, and then you leave campus, go work in that field. There are actual consulting firms now that do DEI consultations for the universities that are trying to reinforce this exact idea. So there's quite the industrial complex for it. There's quite the support. Billions of dollars have been poured into this. So you're right, it's kind of this behemoth of a problem that we have to figure out, how do we actually get rid of this? It's been around for generations on campuses now, and within society it's been pushed on us through entertainment and media. And so it's just a matter of identifying all of the weak spots, right? So first of all, what can we do through the law? We can actually sue and hold universities accountable when they are discriminating against students on the basis of race, when they are violating their First Amendment rights. That is something you can do through the law and set major precedent at, which is what our organization focuses on. But also, you can get lawmakers involved. A lot of these schools are public. They're funded by states. They take a lot of money from the federal government. Let's hold them accountable with their money. Let's make them financially unstable once again, so that they actually have to reprioritize and don't get to just sit around and do all of these DEI initiatives when really they should be focusing on maybe STEM majors or developing our engineering programs, right? So it's a matter of really identifying their weaknesses, and taking advantage of that ultimately.
We're at AmericaFest, Turning Point USA's AmericaFest. What is your message here?
Yeah, again, it comes back to some of the stuff we were talking to the students earlier about. It's courage is contagious. Let's get the students to stand up. This is the group of the most outspoken students on college campuses right now from the right. let's make sure that they're recruiting, that they're speaking out, that they're encouraging their fellow students to expose themselves to various ideas that they haven't heard before, to challenge themselves, to develop intellectually. That is something that's desperately missing on campus, is this exposure to debate, exposure to open discourse. And what's happening is the universities are taking full advantage of that disinterest in debate by saying, well, let's not just shut down debate, but anything that makes you uncomfortable, let's get rid of it, right? So yes, these are the best students to kind of take charge and take lead on campus of that initiative, and I encourage them all to do so.